Hey you, yep, I'm talking about you. Are you ready to see some of my old art? Well, buckle up because we're about to go into a world filled with slight nightmares. But just before that, I would like to say this video will be split into two separate parts. The first part will be me showing you guys my old art and talking about an art tip that kind of changed my life. And the second part is going to be redrawing some old art. So let's get straight into it. By the way, I could just sum up this art tip into literally 5 words and tell you guys what it is, but the thing is, it's not going to make sense, and if you really want to find out how this art tip changed my life, then make sure you watch the entire video so you don't miss out on anything important. Alright, so the sketchbook I'm showing you right now is a sketchbook that I started in 2017. It was one among my first actual sketchbooks. Before that, it was just a bunch of doodles in random notebooks, and as you can see, I was heavily inspired by doodling and that kind of art style because that's what I was seeing a lot of my video recommendations on YouTube about, and some of the other drawings are also just character design drawings. Honestly, I had no idea what I was doing, but for some reason every single thing I drew looked wrong and looked weird, and I just could not pick out why. I think one of my major problems that back then was really bad was that I kept on comparing myself to other artists I looked up to and other artists on YouTube, and I kept trying to make my art look as good, and I'm saying that in quotation marks, as good as theirs, but that's not really what I had to do. I kept trying to make my art look a certain way because I thought art had to look a certain way to be considered art or to be considered beautiful, but that is not true. It just took me so long to realize these things, and honestly I wish I realized them way sooner. But one of the most important things I had to realize was, number one, I need to be myself when I'm creating art. I don't need to try and replicate someone else's art or their art style. I need to be myself. And the second thing is that I really needed to reflect on my art. I just kept on making art like every single day, but I never actually looked back at it. I never looked at my art and said, hey, hold on, the eyes don't look right or the nose doesn't look right. I never found things in specific to focus on. I just kept on drawing, and that was not good. So without any further ado, let me reveal to you the art tip that changed my entire life in terms of art, as well as other parts of my life as well. And that art tip is that hating your art is good. And there we go, it's as simple as that. In 5 words, hating your art is good. But hold on, let me explain. Now, this doesn't just apply for art, but just everything in life in general, because the thing is, sometimes what we try to do is we try to appreciate ourselves for what we create, and we try to be satisfied with what we make. This could be how you take notes in school, or how you complete your work in the office, or even how you bake in the kitchen. You might just try to find satisfaction in what you do, and you might often tell yourself, you know what, that's good enough for me, or this is better than I've done before. And that is good, but if you actually really want to improve, you need to have an open mindset. You need to be ready to learn. And this is exactly where hating your art comes in. Because the thing is, if you ever tend to hate your art, you're hating it for a reason. You're not just hating it because, oh, I just hate making art. You're hating it because either you're struggling with something, or something doesn't look as how you hope for it to look, or maybe you're just feeling frustrated because you have this idea in your head and you're just not able to get it down on paper. See, that is good, because hating your art is a part of reflecting. It means you are learning. Okay, but we just need to back up for a second, because yes, hating your art is good, but hear me out. Hating your art doesn't mean you just have to completely 100% dread your art, because no, you have to find love in the process. It's all about balance in the end, and you have to love what you create. I completely agree with that, but at the same time, it is important for you to, again, have an open mindset and be ready to reflect, be ready to hate certain aspects of your art, because that way you will be able to improve, and if you improve, in the end, you will just end up loving your art. I know it's hard to find a balance between the two. Trust me, I've struggled with that a lot over the past couple of years. Even this year as well, I went through a phase where I just hated everything I was making, and that's when I realized that it could possibly because I just didn't like my art style. So then I tried to reflect on that, and I tried to change my art style, and that definitely helped me love making art again, and it definitely helped me to enjoy the process even more. But I know sometimes hating your art can lead to art block, but trust me, even if you do go into an art block, as soon as you get out of that art block, you're going to feel so satisfied and so proud of yourself, and you're definitely going to come out of that art block as a better person and as a better artist. And just adding on to what I was saying before, this will help you in a lot of aspects of your life. Like if you hate yourself for example, just getting lower marks on a test, that will help motivate you to better next time. Yes, it will bring you down a bit, but in the end, it's only going to push you higher up. It's only going to make you a better person. person. So I guess what I'm trying to say is please do not give up, and please be ready to improve. Be ready to learn. That is the most important thing for anyone, for an artist, for a person. Just be ready to learn. Don't stop embracing your mistakes. Don't give up. Keep on trying, because you will get there. And you might remember how in a lot of my recent videos, even I was complaining that I didn't like how the drawings turned out and that I decided to post them anyway. Well, I wasn't lying. I genuinely didn't like how they turned out. A lot of you guys were really nice, and in the comments you were just saying how amazing the drawings are, and that really made my heart feel so warm. But still, I didn't like how the drawings turned out. But in the end, that was a good thing, because every time I hated one of my drawings, and the next time I made a drawing, I tried to improve certain aspects from the previous drawing, and I just found that my art was getting better and better with every drawing. And again, it is such a satisfying feeling. And I know I've got this whole TED talk going on here, like this whole motivational speech going on here, but this is all just coming from my heart. I'm not using a script or anything. I'm just talking, and this is the truth. This is the art tip that really helped me to change my life, not just in art, but like pretty much every other aspect of my life, and it really helped me to improve and to grow as a person. But you know, I'm still learning as well. My art is obviously not perfect in any way, but let's just learn together. And I can definitely see my growth from my first ever video on my channel to the most recent one. But anyways, time to show you guys a real example. So this is a drawing that I made 2 days ago, and here's how it turned out. I don't like how the nose turned out. I don't like the eyes. I don't like the face shape or the anatomy or the posture. I just think it all looks so weird and stiff, and it's just not me. So we're gonna try and redraw this and hopefully make it better. So after literally 2 days, and after going through a phase where I just hated that drawing a lot, I think it's time for me to try and improve. So I don't remember the last time where I sketched out a complete drawing on camera, but for some reason I just felt really nervous and weird. Maybe it was because the camera was kind of just like in front of my face and I just couldn't see what I was drawing properly. Maybe that, possibly. But I was just being a little stiff though. But in my head, my first intention going into this drawing was to make sure that the eyes looked good, because that's what I hated in the other drawing. Then I tried to draw the face, but it was still turning out weird, so I decided to do that afterwards. Then I tried to focus on the pose. At first I tried to go with the same pose as I did in the previous drawing, and then I figured out that maybe the pose was the problem. Maybe the pose was the reason why the drawing looked that stiff. So after a bit of erasing, I decided to go with a different kind of pose and make it look a little bit more flowy, so that way I could add the magic behind the character. Once I was done with the sketch, then I went ahead and lightened it up and went on to the line art. Now the line art isn't really a problem for me now, but last year specifically, I used to hate my drawings after I did the line art. I think I even talked about it in a lot of my older videos as well, from like exactly a year ago, because every time I did the line art, the sketch would end up turning into a monstrosity and it would just look so stiff and messy. But since then, since I started hating the line art part of my drawings, I just started to also reflect on why I hate it, and I tried to find a way to make it more enjoyable for myself. And now the way I do line art is a bit more loose, but also kind of clean-ish. But before I keep on rambling for another 10 minutes, let me just get my point across. My point is that last year I used to hate doing line art, but then I started reflecting on it, and now I found a way to make it more enjoyable for myself, and I've kind of fallen in love with the process. So yeah, this is just another example of how hating your art and just hating different aspects of your art or how you do things will help you improve and fall in love with the process. The next thing we're going to be doing is coloring in the character. This part was actually kind of hard for me because I was struggling to get the ink out of my marker. I've used that marker so much. It's from my Hoo Hoo skin tone set, and it was just running dry. I tried using the chisel tip, it was dry. I tried using the brush tip, it was also dry. I tried using the other side of the brush tip since it's reversible, but somehow that side was also dried up kind of. And yeah, it was just chaotic, but somehow I managed to color in the skin, which is something I'm really happy with, because if I had to switch up the skin tone and use a different skin tone afterwards, this entire drawing would have probably just been ruined as is. But anyways, after that I did lose a bit of footage because my phone storage has been running out, something that I need to learn how to fix pretty soon because it is going to become a problem. But anyways, I went ahead and colored in the hair, and then I just did the skirt. I tried to go with a really simple color palette for this drawing, but I also tried to experiment and use a different color palette than I normally do, because if you guys know me, you know that I love using purples, blues and pinks in a lot of my drawings, and that I barely use yellows and browns greens and oranges. So today I tried to use a different kind of color palette, and I used some of my older markers as well, which was really fun, and I just really enjoyed it. And then just to make things pop a little bit more, I decided to go with a aqua kind of color to use for the character's top as well as the background, just to make things pop a little bit more and just stand out. Now normally I don't redraw my drawings in my sketchbook after like one page, but the thing is I genuinely just didn't like how the first drawing turned out, which was actually really sad because the sketch I loved personally, but after the coloring and after the line art I just didn't like how it looked. So making this drawing actually did kind of help me out because it just helped me to redeem myself and feel more satisfied. Plus I did go through a learning curve, which is also a good thing. And after adding all the final details, it is just time to sign this piece off because we are almost done with it. Let me know what you guys think about this drawing in the comments and if it is better from the first one. And yeah, also I hope that this tip helped you out, this art tip, and I hope that it will help you guys find ways to improve your own art and make your own art journey more enjoyable. So here's the first drawing, and here is how it looks: the eyes, nose, face, and the pose. And here is how the second drawing looks. Personally, I like the second one, but yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And other than that, have a fabulous day, stay awesome as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!